I was guys what I would do a video tonight congratulating the England under 21s with the 21 team and 21's team for winning the under 21 European Championships yesterday, beating Germany in the final to win back-to-back European under 21 European Championship trophies. Obviously, this is a huge monument for the England under 21s. Obviously, history makers. Obviously, great to win back-to-back tournaments. Obviously, great to see them play so well in that game yesterday against a very good very good Germany team. England. What's really on the under 21s yesterday was a very pleasant experience. It was a game where I know when you watch the senior sport, when you watch the senior team, I am always feeling really nervous. But when I was watching the under 21 team play yesterday, I didn't really feel that nervous at all. It feels like it felt good to be able to watch a game without feeling nervous. Which is how you always feel with the senior squad. I just think it's huge to think about the fact that to think about what Steve Carsley has achieved with the under 21 squad and the fact that he's won back-to-back European Championship trophies with them. It makes me wonder what he could have achieved with the senior squad. Could he have achieved something? Could he have achieved a major trophy with them? I don't know. Obviously, the under 20, obviously the senior squad would have been, more of a challenge for him, than the under 21s squad. It's crazy to think that the under 21s have done something that the senior squad is still yet to achieve. Obviously they've won back-to-back European Championship finals. The senior squad have gotten to back-to-back European finals and lost both finals. Which is a bummer, and it shows that how bad we are, obviously how bad the senior team is. It's been a while since I've enjoyed watching the senior squads actually play a game of football. I didn't enjoy the Andorra game. I didn't enjoy the Senegal game. Because both games were shit. We played absolutely dreadfully in both games. We were lucky to beat Andorra. We were we were shit, absolutely shite against Senegal. But it's just unbelievable. It's exciting the talent that we have in the under 21 squad. Hopefully, over the next few years, we'll start to see some of those under 21s, those players from the under 21 squad coming up to the senior team and playing more first team and starting to play football for the senior England team. Obviously, I certainly see players like Harvey Elliott coming up to the senior squad within the next couple of years. I'm sure that he will do that. There's a few others there, maybe players like Joe Bellingham come up eventually. Obviously, a couple of the other players that did feature in the squad yesterday, I think will be very soon to come up for England, for the England senior team as well. It was an interesting game. Obviously, we were 2-0 up, kind of threw away the lead a little bit. We let them score in the first half. They scored the equaliser. We then got the winner. At least we didn't. At least we got. We didn't. At least we didn't have to go to penalties, which was one good thing. That would have been even more nerve-wracking going to penalties. I feel like it's even more special this time around as we beat Germany in the final. And there's always been obviously that bit of a rivalry there with England and Germany, so it's always nice to kind of win a big game against Germany. Obviously, we beat them in the under 21s playoff championship in the final of that game, the final of that tournament. We beat them in the final of the Women's Euros a couple of years back, or a few years back. So, obviously England, hopefully next year, but we have a dream of England winning the World Cup. Next year, the senior team winning the World Cup. At the moment, we are well off of where we need to be able to win that, to win that tournament next year. Um, you know, before we know it, it's scary that, because before we know it, people might think, oh, they're up to, still a year away, but the reality is, a year is not really that long, before we, it's obviously, before, we literally got, we've got 6 months left of this year, you know, um, which is crazy to think about. Obviously, we're going to July on Tuesday, we've got 6.5 months left of the year, obviously plus another, what, 6 months, into, obviously, of next year. So, I mean, obviously, it's not that long, and there's a lot of work to do, and I don't know if Thomas Tuchel's the right man. I want to believe that Thomas Tuchel was the right man to win the tournament for the England, mate, for the England senior team, but I don't know. I still feel like we should have stuck with Steve Harsley and obviously has Steve Harsley managed to, become permanent manager, would have been interesting. Um, I mean, obviously, I think the players in the England under 21s all deserve to be very proud of themselves, for this achievement and the fact that they've made history. You know, the other 21s, but you've got great players, a great manager. They put in a fantastic performance yesterday. Steve Harsley, what a job he's done with the under 21s. Two back to back, European under 21 trophies. You know, huge for them. Huge moment for them. Um, and as I said, I wonder what he could have achieved with the England, the England senior team. Would he have achieved anything with them? I don't know. I'd like to think he would have done. I'd like to think that he probably would have achieved something with the senior team. I mean, if he can do what he's done with the under 21 squad, what's to say that he couldn't have he couldn't have done something great and truly phenomenal with the England senior team. We just don't know. Um, Steve Hall. I mean, I've been very impressed with Steve Harsley and how he's obviously managed the under 21s team. I think he's done a fantastic job with them, and obviously, this is a huge moment for them. Winning the under 21s championship, European championships. Back to back winners as well. It makes that even more special. We beat Spain in the last final, we beat Germany in this final. Um, So congratulations to them. This is the win they deserved. This is the thing. Like, you can't say that England under 21s didn't deserve to win that game, because I honestly feel that they did. And I think I'm not going to say that they deserved it more than Germany did. I mean, Germany played very well in that game yesterday. I think the German under 21s team are not a bad team, and not a bad side. They do, they do have quite qualities, qualities up there. And they were really, really good in that game yesterday. England, again, I feel like England, I mean, they weren't too bad in the first half, but I feel like they sort of took their foot off the gas a little bit, kind of slipped up a little bit, and started slipping up a little bit in the second half. Um, you know, but I'm glad that we got the winning goal, and I'm glad that we avoided penalties, which is the main thing. Um, I know I'm not the only one who's probably thinking that Steve Parsley should have gotten, the England senior manager's job full time. Would have been exciting to see what he could do with this squad of players. I mean, yeah, I mean, it certainly would have been very interesting, but I just don't know. So yeah, before I come on this evening, give my thoughts on that. Obviously, massive win for the England under 21s yesterday. Funny to think that we've now beaten Germany in two finals in the space of 3 years. Obviously, the women's team beat the Germany women's team in the women's Euros final a few years back, and then obviously we beat Germany in the under 21s European Championship final yesterday as well. So yeah, it's great. You know, it's always nice to beat a team like Germany. I don't know why I always love it when we beat Germany. Um, I feel like there's nothing better than seeing England seen an England team beat a Germany team. I mean, what would there really be anything better than that? Probably not. If, obviously, well, I mean, is it fair to say that Germany is one of our biggest rivals? Probably, yeah, I think it is fair to say that. I think there is definitely quite a big rivalry there, you know. So I think the fact there's always been a big rivalry there is why it's always nice to beat Germany, because it's like we're beating one of our biggest rivals. So it's nice to see that. You know, it's nice to see us getting those wins over some of our big rivals. Obviously, in Germany, is one of our biggest rivals, so it's nice to see. And I think, and it's nice to say that we deserve to win that game. It's nice to say that they got a decent performance in. As I said, hopefully in the next few years we start to see some of those players in the under-21s team making their way up to the senior squad. I'd love to see what players like Harvey Elliott could do in the senior squad. Not to mention players like James Matty, the captain of the England under-21s team. Would be great to see him in the senior team as well. Amari Hutchinson, even maybe for 1 year, obviously joining Miles Lewis-Stelly in the team. It would be nice to see obviously Joe Bellingham as well, which we probably will see soon. I know one thing. If Liverpool let Harvey Elliott go, they would be making a big mistake. I have to say it. I think if Liverpool did that, if Liverpool let Harvey Elliott go, they would be making a flipping huge mistake there. As Harvey Elliott's a brilliant, brilliant player. He's really shown. I think he's really shown that at this under 21s at this under 21s Euros tournament. I think he's really shown that. I think he's really shown just how he's just just how good he actually is. And I think if Liverpool, I think Liverpool should keep him in their squad, that he's a fantastic player. I mean, he's obviously the thing is with Harvey Elliott, he's still a young player as well. He's still got quite a few years ahead of him before he obviously thinks about retiring. So, I mean, if he comes up to the senior squad, I hope it goes well for him. I hope he gets plenty of game time, in the senior squad. It'd be nice to see what he can do. If he can play, he's absolutely, the sort of brilliant football that he played for the under-21 side. Surely he can play just as brilliantly for the senior team. I think the problem with the senior team is we have a lot of players in the squad that have big ego problems. I feel like that's the major problem, is that we do have a lot of players that have big ego problems. So, and if we got rid of some of those players that had those big ego problems, we might actually win something. But who knows? Yeah, but yeah, congratulations to the under-21s. So I hope you've enjoyed that video, enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for another one soon. Bye bye.